Hey everyone, Mr. Comics 89 here. I'm doing a little fun video. Something kind of by request and something that sounds like a lot of fun. I recently had a comment on one of my 750 subscriber video from a guy called Manny the Hobgoblin Collector, and he asked me a question. Or he noticed he noticed my question. He asked if he'd be interested in my thoughts on Stern's run and any favorite issues and all that, and he lists books on Hobgoblin because Hobgoblin was created during his time. So I thought I'd do a little video here and try and do something for that and all that, just to match it up. If I had to pick a favorite era outside of Stan Lee and all that stuff and Jerry Conway, I do like Jerry Conway's work. I mean, I think we all naturally drift to Roger Stern. I mean, this guy really did create some stories that were emotionally touching, you know. Perfect example of that issue of emotionally touching is, you know, books like ASM number 228 or 248 here, you know, the kid who collects comic books. I mean, it's a 9-issue or 9-page. It's not even. It's a very short part of the story, not even really remotely, you know, not the main focus of the book. But this kid here, the way this story was created, was such a tearjerker in a way. Just wow, you know what I mean? Just Roger Stern. What can we say about that? But Roger Stern, he created some of the books here that I've gathered, you know, and all that, you know, things like Roger Stern's run. Books, you know, with like Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut with these 2 issues. And again, if I pause for a second here, I have to make sure I have my camera on here so I can see what I'm looking at. Spider Overcoming Odds. I mean, Spider-Man Overcoming Odds. I mean, seriously, in what world should Spider-Man actually be able to face off against the Juggernaut and beat him? I mean, literally, this picture says it all, the cover. Spider-Man's going up against an impossible foe. How, you know, just to save Madam Web here. But Spider-Man's never give up, never say die, never, the audacity to win, that expression is just incredible. And I had to look up some of my notes on over here that I had on Stern that I brought up here. And I'm going to be talking most about just ASM. I mean, he did work on Spectacular, but I'm an ASM guy. I love Spectacular, but most of my notes here are just on ASM, so I apologize if you were expecting something else. But just like he did, you know, Nothing Can Stop the Juggernaut is right up there with, you know, the Master Web, or not Master Web, but what was it? The what do my notes say? The This Be My Destiny, you know, where we see Spider-Man first pushing up the rubble and overcoming great odds. He helped create some of these issues there that really spoke to us. You know, here's nothing can work, nothing's stopping the Juggernaut. He's an unstoppable force. He's almost inhuman, and tensions building and building and building. You know, nothing's slowing him down, and finally he creates a way to slow him down temporarily by the wet cement for a skyscraper that he drops in the bottom of, and it will hold him there just for a little bit. Like I said, the kid who creates Spider-Man. One simple short story at the back of an issue. Where my thing jumped on me. Stupid ads. Sorry about that. Where was it at? Sorry about this. Nothing is South the Juggernaut. Kid collect. Yeah, here we go. It's just a simple, kind story that shows us partly why, his interaction with the kid shows us the soft side of Spider-Man, the personal character of Spider-Man and Peter Parker that we love. Just. And then, like I said, sorry, I'm jumping everywhere. I'm not great at doing these types of videos, I think. And so my mind jumps everywhere. Just the great covers. Great covers make the book. I mean, the photorealism is not my favorite aspect of any time it appears in a comic. This is my favorite cover of the two. Just seriously. It's just good. And then, like I said, he created stuff too, with his work with the goblins. He mentioned there talks about in the site here or whatever. He talks about the Green Goblin. Part of this is some interaction with the Green Goblin, if I remember correctly. But what he's most well known for is the character creation is the Hobgoblin. And here's one of my two first Hobgoblins newsstand. It's a shame this one doesn't have the Marvel values. No, this one does. This one doesn't have the tattoos. That's why I didn't have this one graded, which is a shame. But his creation here, the Hobgoblin, and the mystery of it. We find out later, obviously, that it's Roger Kingsley, but is it Ned Leeds? Is it Lefty Donovan? Which is it? Flash, who in my mind would actually believe it's Flash. But a character who finds Norman Osborn's lab, or an underground lair and technique and all that. In a way, Hobgoblin didn't earn. I like Hobgoblin a lot, but I love him, and he's a favorite only behind Green Goblin. Green Goblin will always be my favorite. But Hobgoblin almost never really earned. He was a master thief, but he has his glider that he got from Norman, his weapons that he got from Norman, the secrets to the Goblin formula he got from a journal, I think too. And so nothing that the Hobgoblin had truly was created from his own mind, like it was from Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin. But for some reason, we were able to see a character, partly through the mystery and the mystery storyline of who is this character. We see his first battle with Spider-Man, and these are great battles. I mean, up till this point, Norman is dead. Harry had just become the second Green Goblin, I believe. But the fights between Harry as Green Goblin were never as satisfying until his death. But the fights between Hobgoblin and Spider-Man were. So in a way, Hobgoblin didn't create what he had. Stole the identity and just rebranded it. What else can you expect from a fashion designer like Kingsley as a rebranding? He was a brilliant business owner, but he didn't create the Goblin. He just created the Hobgoblin. But the fights that you have between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin were legendary, in my opinion. You got great covers that appeared in Stern's run. This is one of my favorite Hobgoblin and Spider-Man covers. Gorgeous artwork. But, you got third Hobgoblin retells the origin and death of the first Green Goblin. So the first Green Goblin, the third Green Goblin, you got the death of Hobgoblin, Lefty Donovan, a thug hired by the second Hobgoblin, Roger Kingsley, before he's the first one. And then you got, like the appearance of the second Hobgoblin, and then Jason Macendale. Just things like that. This book I got from my current my old LCS before I was anyway. long story for a different time again. But just Hobgoblin was a fun character. He's very, just fun. Hobgoblin's just a very fun character. Every single time he appears, especially like I said, my favorite Hobgoblin run ultimately I think is the last one here. I love this whole aspect here. This is part 3 of Hobgoblin's Last Stand, and I have this issue out here because it is my my first appearance of my first fan letter. So, but Roger Kinsley's back as a Hobgoblin. Brainwash Ned Leeds. Hobgoblin, so you have a 2-on-1 Hobgoblin fight. Now that was a lot of fun. Spider-Man got beat the hell out of, but it's 2 goblins versus 1 with 2 goblin formula, serum, strength, agility. The Goblin formula is the only thing that ever put a villain on Spider-Man's level. Yes, he fought villains like Doctor Doom, in ASM 5, Juggernaut. But if you go on toe-to-toe, like a boxing match, Rocky 3 scenario, or Rocky 4, should I say, you got the Goblins are the only people ever to go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man. And so to have 2-on-1, Rocky was a great fighter, but put the Russian and put Mr. T in the ring against Rocky, and he's going to get his ass kicked before, even if he can win, he's going to get his ass kicked a lot. But just some great Hobgoblin stories, some great characters, and then back to the whole issues. Roger Stern reintroduces Mary Jane to ASM after a 4-year absence by her. She had been kind of written out because what were the stories of Mary Jane that we can write? We can't write anything, so rather than keep a character that's not going anywhere, they kind of wrote her off. And they had another blonde girl vying for his affection at the time. And then Roger Stern closes his run with 252, the first black suit. This is not signed by Stern, it's signed by Brett Breeding, in case you're wondering, or Ron Friends or anything like that. But Roger Stern might not have had a, how should I put this, earthquake level shake the system foundation like Stan Lee and Steve Ditko had, like Jerry Conway with introducing characters like the Punisher, and Death of Norman and the Green Goblin, Death of Gwen Stacy. But Roger Stern did make some good stories. He created some emotional stories. He's a great storyteller in building his tension. Juggernaut story. It was just great. There's things about him I disagree with. I think if I remember reading the article on him is that Roger Stern did not agree with the marriage of Spider-Man and Mary Jane. So, just like fans who are out there who say he belonged with Gwen Stacy instead of Mary Jane. You guys have a right to your opinion, like I have the right to my opinion. So I disagree with Stern on that regard. I think that Peter belonged with Mary Jane. He belonged married, because my greatest responsibilities in life has only started once I became a husband and a father. I was living on easy street until then with responsibilities. I didn't realize how easy I had it until I became a husband and a father. So, I think that for a character who's dripping in the aura of responsibility, it just worked. So, see if I can see if anything touching that I should have touched on before I do it here. Disagreement over the marriage, talked about that. No, nothing really to talk about here. Nothing else really to talk about, but yeah, Roger Stern, he's cemented himself into the hearts and minds of us Spider-Man lovers here. I mean, like I said, he might not have a groundbreaking, legendary run like some creators might have had, or shake the system quite like other creators, but he ran an era of Spider-Man that still played homage to what Ditko and Lee created. That, I think, more than anything else, is what is the legacy of Stern. He didn't shake the box too much, but he honored what Lee and Ditko had, and at the same time gave us in doing so gave us stories like The Boy Who Collected Comic Books, like bringing back characters that are essential to Spider-Man's storyline, gave us legendary fights, like the Hobgoblin with Spider-Man, and created one or two essential characters that absolutely belong in Spider-Man's history. I guess you can say he kind of, Roger Stern, along with Tom DeFalco, kind of created Venom. Shh, don't tell anyone I said that. And then, like I said, Roger Stern created a character, helped create a character that years later, that 40 years later, I would have my name in the same book as his character. So that's my thoughts on Roger Stern. I mean, I guess you could argue I didn't go into too much detail. My thoughts are scattered everywhere. But I gave thoughts on several key books, because Hobgoblin honestly doesn't have that many keys. Like I said, 238, 239, 289 with the first appearance of the second Hobgoblin, the first fight, like I mentioned before. Hobgoblin himself doesn't have too many keys. He's more like, boom, there he is. I guess that kind of what happens when you have, was it 2 or 3 years that you had the Hobgoblin mystery before, hey, it's Ned Leeds. And then we find out later that, yeah, it really wasn't. Goblin at the Gates, I believe, is a storyline where Hobgoblin's revealed to be Roderick Kingsley, which honestly I like it better. I do like Roderick Kingsley better than Ned Leeds as a Hobgoblin, just because, like I said before, the only thing Roderick created was a rebranding on the Green Goblin. Yes, he had his fashion empire, he had this and that business, I believe. I can't remember exactly. But he did not create the Goblin formula. He did not create the weapons he stole. He didn't create the goblins, the glider he rode. It's hey, here's a Norman Osborn journal, here's an underground lair. Recreation of the formula in which he bathed in, which I don't understand that whole bathing aspect or the gassing aspect. I do like the favor of, here's the drinking a formula. We drink Dayquil and NyQuil and some medication to get better. Why can't we drink the Goblin formula? Certainly less waste of resources, especially in today's age. But yeah, Roderick didn't create the Hobgoblin. He created the name and he created the look. His fashion designing really came into handy there. But he didn't create the Goblin persona. So I would say that he doesn't deserve any credit like that. But I do like the fact that what Roderick did with it, the whole scenario of it's not me who's the Goblin, it's this guy and that guy, and the mysterious of it. I mean, Roger Stern did a great job with that. That definitely did a great job with that persona. And I look forward to every time I see the Hobgoblin. I always enjoy it. I do always enjoy the Hobgoblin. And like I said, Roger Stern. If I had to pick an era outside of Steve Ditko and Stan Lee, I might pick Roger Stern as a second favorite, just for the stories in the 200s of ASM. He had a very short run, He had a very short run, I believe. What was it? I had a thing here when I looked up Roger Stern in ASM Volume 1. Roger Stern came on to Spider-Man. He did one little stint, I think, looked like in 206. But then he appeared in 224 and worked his way up to 251. 26 issues? For a guy who wrote this, you know, we were at 915. For a guy who wrote 26 issues out of 915 issues, or 17 issues, I'm not sure where you're going to qualify. We'll just say 915. My math is wrong. I know it's wrong. Please don't correct me. I know it's wrong. So out of 915 issues, 26 issues, you know, 24 to 51. This guy is that well beloved with 26 issues. You don't get that level of love and dedication from fans with 26 issues if you weren't brilliant at your job. So, Roger Stern's definitely one of the titans of Spider-Man, and he deserves everything that's said about him, honestly. So those are my thoughts on Roger Stern and the Hobgoblin. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this. I mean, I should do more. I should need to do a little more research and be a little more prepared. But ultimately, I found this fun. You know, giving my thoughts on creators, giving my thoughts on characters. Let me know what you guys think. This was definitely a lot of fun, and what better place to honestly start than Hobgoblin, because as I said, my tie-in with Hobgoblin, you know, I'm going to forever be showing that off. So get used to it. So take care, everyone. Don't forget to comment down below what you thought of the video. If you want to see future videos, like and subscribe to my channel, because that's the only way, you can be a part of my 750 and 1,000 subscriber contest, is to be a part and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to doing more of these videos in the future. You guys, I love doing these videos, and you guys who watch my videos and comment, I just want to say thank you. Anyway, take care, everyone. Happy collecting. Till next time, Mr. Comics signing off. Have a good day, everyone.